Marilyn, Mom, and Me, a new play by Luke Yankee. Most of this is true. As the lights slowly rise, Luke, a pleasant-looking, middle-aged man, enters an upscale living room in a suburban home. He carries a pink pastry box. He sits at the coffee table and arranges the items on it. A pitcher of iced tea, the pastries, a large ashtray, and a pack of cigarettes. He then spends a considerable amount of time organizing the pillows on the sofa.
Mom, I'm ready.
He takes a mini cassette recorder out of his bag and starts fiddling with it.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. The date is February 7th, 1999, and this is tape 1 of the Mama Project.
Once everything is set, Eileen Heckert enters. She is a crusty, no-nonsense actress of a certain age. A cigarette dangles from her lips.
Where's the ashtray?
Right here. Can I turn up the heat? It's freezing in here.
Only 2 degrees. It costs a fortune to heat this whole place.
It's not exactly like you're strapped for cash.
And I want to keep it that way, thank you. You want one of your father's sweaters?
No, thanks.
I still have a couple. In the bottom drawer of the...
Fine.
They still smell like him. When I put one on, it's almost like he's hugging me.
Daddy always did give the best hugs.
Eileen sits down, stubs out her cigarette, and hurls half the pillows onto the floor. She opens the pastry box.
No bear claws?
Under the Danish.
Did you get these at Walter Stewart's or Broad River?
Walter Stewart's.
Broad River has better bear claws.
Eileen breaks off a piece of a bear claw and eats it as she pours herself some iced tea.
You recording this?
I thought I would. Yes.
What for?
Let's call it an archival project.
You writing a book about me?
Yeah, maybe someday.
Honey, don't waste your time. A book won't sell unless it's salacious. And I'm sure as hell not telling you that stuff.
Not all celebrity biographies have to be sensational.
They do if you're going to sell to anyone besides some crazy cat lady in Grand Rapids. Besides, nobody gives a shit about me.
That's not true.
I'm not a movie star. I'm just a character actress. Dime a dozen.
But you've worked with everyone, and you've got amazing stories.
If you're looking for gossip, you've come to the wrong place.
Not gossip, anecdotes.
You want to know about her, don't you?
I want to know about the two of you, the connection you had.
There was no connection. All she cared about was herself. She was a pain in the ass.
That's all you have to say about her? Why not just tell it the way you saw it?
Yeah, right. And get sued by her estate so a bunch of pansies can stand around the water cooler and say, "Did you hear what Hecky said about Marilyn? Isn't it fabulous?"
What if it was just for the family, for the sake of posterity?
You've heard all the stories 100 times. You know them better than I do.
You never finished them.
Of course I do. I know better than to leave my audience hanging.
I've heard them piecemeal. I need to get them clear in my head.
So you can write a tell-all and make me your goddamn meal ticket?
So I can know the truth.
Oh, nobody cares about the truth. Not with her. They want to hear about the legend. The fragile young thing who was so vulnerable. Part woman, part child, who everybody wanted to screw.
Why wouldn't anybody take her seriously as an actress?
Oh, because until then, she wasn't an actress. She was a personality. Oh, my soap opera's about to come on.
Oh, can't we just...
Tomorrow! Put the pastries in the bread box on your way out.
Luke picks up the pastry box and exits. A lighting shift represents a passage of time. Luke re-enters with a white pastry box this time. He puts it on the table and picks up the tape recorder.
The date is February 8th, 1999, and this is tape 2 of the Mama Project. Are you coming?
I'm getting some coffee. You want some?
No, thanks.
Did you remember the croissants?
Of course.
Almond or chocolate?
Both.
That's my boy.
Eileen enters carrying a tray with 2 plates, napkins, and a cup of coffee. She sees 2 tape recorders on the table.
Oh, shit.
You said we could try again today.
No, you did. Why are there 2 tape recorders?
A backup.
Wow, you're really serious about this. I thought you wanted to see me.
I do. But I was wondering if maybe you could share a few stories while we're reading.
You think I can be had for a pain au chocolat?
I know you can.
Why do people call them chocolate croissants? They're French. It's pain au chocolat.
I know.
And it's not lingerie. It's lingerie.
Right. It's not Celtic, it's Celtic. But if you said that to a sports fan in Boston, you're probably going to knuckle sandwich. So are we going to do this?
You know I don't like to talk about her.
Why?
It's private,
Even to me?
especially to you.
What's that supposed to mean?
I know you. You'll turn it into a book or a play or a big faggy tap number in a musical.
Don't you think I have a little more respect for you than that?
I think you know what sells. And for some cockamamie reason, stories about her still do.
You think I just want to exploit you? I'm not the fucking National Enquirer.
I never said that.
Jesus, give me some credit.
Sorry,
And please don't call me a faggot.
I didn't.
You said my work was faggy. It's the same thing.
My God, you're jumpy today.
I'm sorry. I didn't sleep well.
Clearly. You want a donut hole?
I don't eat that crap anymore.
You're a loss. Why is this MARILYN stuff so important to you anyway?
I'm not sure, but I feel like it's going to help me understand us better.
Is this some BS from your shrink again? I was a terrible mother because I never told you about Marilyn Monroe.
No, but there was obviously a connection there between you and her.
She was too needy and self-absorbed to have a connection with anything other than her makeup mirror. I don't know why Josh Logan put up with her.
Eileen crosses to the other side of the stage and picks up a telephone. Actor number 4 enters, playing director Joshua Logan, holding a manuscript. He is flamboyant, over the top, and probably the way a Broadway director would look to a housewife in a red state.
Becky, darling, I have to have you in this part. I've got to put solid Broadway actors in all the supporting roles to make up for the fact that Marilyn Monroe can't act.
Well, Josh, if you really feel that way, then why are you doing it?
Fox offered me a 2-picture deal. Netta wants to buy a farmhouse in Connecticut. The damn thing needs a new roof and copper plumbing. Besides, after Marilyn did that 7-year itch thing and showed her panties, she caused a sensation. It was the crotch shot seen round the world. Did you know DiMaggio was so ticked off he gave her a black eye? If I stood over a subway grate and showed my bloomers, I don't think it would have the same effect.
So, what's the part?
Let me set the scene.
He read the entire script to me over the phone.
Lights dim on Josh as he continues to talk animatedly, flipping pages of the manuscript.
Scene 5, the Truck Stop Cafe where Cherie works.
All of it?
He did the same damn thing the first day of rehearsals for Picnic. Josh was a way better actor than any of us. He showed you exactly the way he wanted it done. And your Nanny was having a fit because it was way past dinner time.
I can just hear her. Eileen, can't you just tell him you'll do the part for crying out loud? The leg of lamb will be dry as a bone.
Lights restore on Josh.
Okay, Josh, I'll do it.
Oh, oh, that's wonderful, darling. I knew you'd love it. Now, scene 23.
By the time he finished, we had to order out for Chinese.
When did you meet her?
I told you, I'm not going to talk about her
Why not?
because it's nobody's business.
So you really have nothing to say?
Nothing that hasn't already been said 100 times over. Jesus, do you know how many biographies and documentaries there are from people who knew her intimately to people who didn't have a clue?
Was she always difficult?
Of course not. Sometimes she could be.
That's why you have to tell it.
To make an ass of myself?
You always get choked up when you talk about her. There must be some reason that...
Now you're just making things up.
Am I?
If you don't stop talking like a group leader at an AA meeting, I'm gonna leave.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hand me a cigarette. She was 2 hours late to the table reading,
Why?
probably so she could make an entrance. I don't suppose we could do the read through without her.
She's not only the star, she's the producer. Hecky, did I ever tell you that fabulous story about Mary Martin during the out-of-town tryouts for South Pacific?
5 times. But tell me again.
So, there we were in previews in New Haven, and we get to I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair, and the shower stops working. Well, Mary is center stage, covered in soap and shampoo, and all of a sudden,
Marilyn Monroe enters quickly. Wearing a fur coat and pearl earrings, she is every inch the movie star.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I was going over the script with my acting coach. I didn't want to disappoint anybody on the first day. Oh, hello, Mr. Logan. It's so nice to see you again.
hello, Marilyn. I think you know most everyone else here. This is Eileen Heckert, who's going to be playing your best friend, Vera.
Oh, Miss Heckert, it's such an honor.
I'll go rally the troops. Okay, everyone, coffee break's over. She's here.
How do you do? And please, call me Eileen.
Oh, that may take some doing. When I respect somebody as much as I do you, I tend to be a little more formal. I've seen all your work on Broadway. You're a great talent.
Thank you. That's very kind. But why are you speaking with that accent? We're not even reading yet, let alone shooting.
Oh, I'm going to talk in it all the time. Well, my mentor is Mr. Lee Strasberg. You have such depth to your work. You must have studied with him.
Actually, when I auditioned for the Actors Studio, Lee flunked me for insufficient talent.
Oh, I can't believe that.
It's true.
I know you worked with Kim Stanley.
I did.
I saw her play Cherie on Broadway. She was wonderful in the part. I only hope that I can bring half as much to the role as she did.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Mr. Strasberg says I need to stay in character all the time on set. That's part of the method.
Uh-huh. The method never really worked for me.
Well, that's because you're a natural actress. I have to struggle all the time.
Don't we all, honey?
I have to throw off all the trappings in order to fully inhabit the role of Cherie.
What gorgeous earrings. May I?
Do you like them? They're golden pearls and sapphires. They were a gift from Joe. Did you know that I used to be married to Joe DiMaggio?
I think the entire world knows that. Listen, I hope you don't mind if I don't speak in my accent all the time.
Of course not. We all have our process. I'm just excited we're going to be on location in Phoenix.
Really? I hear they're having a terrible heat wave.
But I'll be closer to AM.
AM?
You know, the playwright.
You mean Arthur Miller?
Shh, it's a secret.
Are you and Arthur seeing each other?
He's the most incredible man I've ever met. He's in Reno getting a divorce, so we have to keep things under wraps. When he's free, we're going to be married.
Well, that's wonderful.
Well, I know that you worked with him on A View from the Bridge. He speaks so highly of you. If I'm in Phoenix and he's in Reno, we'll be able to see each other on the weekends.
I couldn't imagine how sweet, mild-mannered Arthur Miller was going to handle the likes of her. Besides, he was a very traditional husband. He wasn't equipped to handle her Circe complex.
What's that?
She had to believe that every man in the room was in love with her at all times. Every person, for that matter. She was already trying to ensnare me, and I sure as hell wasn't going to let her. She had this way of making you feel that you were solely responsible for her life.
Did you? Feel responsible?
Okay, I'm done.
How come?
What part of I don't want to talk about Marilyn and Monroe don't you understand?
But we're just getting somewhere.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Can't we just finish what we're
I
telling?
have a lunch date with Rosetta.
Well, how about tomorrow night? I'll make a turkey meatloaf.
Blah. I like beef in my meatloaf.
I made you one after Daddy's funeral, and you said how much you liked it.
What did you expect me to say? Your father had just died.
What time?
Not until after 60 minutes. I'll make the salad.
Give my love to Rosie. Yeah, didn't she win an award recently?
Better than that. Actors Equity created an award in her name for fostering racial diversity in the theater.
Wow. I'll have to send her some flowers.
Make a donation to her theater. She'd rather have that.
Of course.
Eileen crosses to the cafe table where Rosetta Lenoir, a straight-shooting older African-American woman, sits.
When are you going to give that boy a break?
What do you mean?
He is trying to connect with you.
We connect all the time.
Putting him down is not connecting.
I don't put him down.
Then what would you call it? I don't see anyone else running around to 3 different bakeries to get you donut holes. Give him what he wants.
I am not going to bare my soul so he can write some fucking expose.
When are you going to stop being so afraid?
That's bullshit.
After nearly 40 years, you think I don't know you better than that?
If there was ever a time in my life to be scared, don't you think this is it?
Tell him.
I'm not ready yet.
You're never going to be ready.
Will you get off my fucking back?
If you don't let your walls down with your own son, you're going to be sorry.
Walls. You are so full of shit.
Hecky, tell him.
Eileen crosses back to the living room and sits with Luke. She hands him a manila envelope.
I pulled out some press clippings from bus stop and some photos.
You said you didn't.
So, what do you want to know?
Okay. How did Josh handle all of her method acting?
He didn't. Paula did.
A lighting transition shows the passage of time as Eileen resumes her place at the table reading.
Thank you for that wonderful reading, everyone. Now, Marilyn, I want to show you what wonderful ideas our production designers have.
Oh, I couldn't possibly do anything more today. I'm just exhausted. Could we do it tomorrow?
Well, I suppose it could wait till morning.
When is your meeting with Paula?
I thought it was understood that Paula wasn't going to be on the set.
I can't work without Paula.
Marilyn, don't you see how that would be like having 2 directors? It wouldn't work.
But she's my acting coach. Paula has to be on set to tell her what to do.
Her?
Marilyn Monroe.
Ah, why don't we talk about this in the morning when we're rested?
I won't sleep a wink until I know that you're going to let Paula be on set.
I'll meet with her, Marilyn. I will. Now, everyone, we'll do a design presentation at 8 a.m. sharp, okay?
9:30.
9:30.
Of course, Marilyn rolled in the next morning at 5 minutes to 11, and not until Josh called at 10:30 and set up an appointment with Paula.
Bill Trevia had to go to Vegas for the day on another project, which is why I was hoping that we could do the costume presentation yesterday. But he and I talked through it all at length. Now, this one will have bugle beads on the trim and a tall, feathered headdress with ostrich plumes.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Did you know Bill Trevia once dressed me in a potato sack to prove that Marilyn Monroe could look good in anything?
And this one will have a sequined train.
I love it. Put it into production.
You really like these outfits?
My character sings at a truck stop cafe. She wouldn't wear anything like that. She couldn't even afford it.
I'm so relieved.
I love Bill Trevia, but he's all wrong about this character.
I think so too. Well, then why
But-
did you?
But I won't hate it when we get through with it. First, we'll tear out half the feathers and make it look like a molting turkey. We'll snag the fishnets and darn the holes with a crochet hook. Then we'll rip out half the sequins in the train and dirty it up a little. Oh, it's going to be so pitiful, it'll make you cry. I want to go to the wardrobe department and pick out a blouse. Eileen, would you come too?
Do you really need me?
Oh, please, I value your opinion so much.
Josh feels on a wardrobe rack loaded with costumes.
You start at this end and I'll start at that one.
With lightning speed, MARILYN starts working her way through the rack. Eileen pauses over a tattered blouse. She holds it up.
MARILYN, how about this one?
This is it.
That?
The tag says it was worn by Susan Hayward and with a song in my heart. And I'll wear a simple black pencil skirt with it. It's perfect.
Well, I'm glad that's settled.
Thank you, Eileen.
Well, now we have to get back for a makeup test.
What time is your meeting with Paula?
Can I get you anything? How do you feel?
Like Wile E. Coyote just dropped an anvil on my head.
You barely touched your meatloaf. I hope you're better before you have to go to Toronto.
I turned it down. I told David this morning.
You said it was such a great part.
It is, but I'm not up to it.
You haven't even seen the test results.
They came in yesterday
When were you going to tell me?
when I was ready.
So you tell your goddamn agent before you tell your own son?
I had to. Get badgering me about Toronto. He couldn't put off the producer any longer.
How far is it spread?
Lungs, liver, little bit in the kidneys.
Did they give you a time frame?
Trying to get rid of me.
No, I am trying to plan my life so that I could be here for the end of yours.
I'm glad you know. We need to make every moment count.
Do you want me to move back in?
Until I die. Better get used to saying it.
Do you?
God, no. We drive each other crazy.
But you'll tell me how you're doing. Please, no more secrets.
After that one, I don't think I've got too many left.
So, do we need to make any arrangements?
No, it's all taken care of. Everything's in the filing cabinet in the study. I want my ashes scattered in the spring under the magnolia tree and in the daffodil beds.
Okay.
And see if you can sneak a few in front of the stage door of the music box. I've had 5 hits there.
I know.
And I want Rosetta to speak. And you, if you want to.
Of course.
Just don't go on too long. You know how you get when you're emotional.
I won't. How about a hug?
Okay, that's enough.
I love you.
I love you too. So, want to hear about MARILYN and Paula Strasberg?
But 1 minute you don't want to talk about her, and the next you're.
It might be a good distraction.
Well, I'm still kind of processing.
We're not going to sit around and talk about death all day. Jesus, how depressing.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe it would be a good way to take our minds off other stuff.
Pour me some Nestea.
You think all that sugar is good for you?
It's what keeps me going.
Well, they say cancer feeds on sugar.
Little late to worry about that, don't you think?
Have you been sleeping?
Damned coughing keeps waking me up.
Are you still spitting up blood?
Not that much.
Is there anything they can give you?
Only morphine, but I'm not there yet. Thank God.
Would you let me know when?
Trust me, You'll know.
What are you doing?
Becoming Paula Strasberg.
I can't keep up with you.
During the following, Eileen wraps a long black scarf around her neck and puts on a pair of large, round-framed eyeglasses.
Paula worked a good deal in the 40s as an actress, mostly in the Yiddish theater. Then she named names for the House on Un-American Activities Committee, helping McCarthy root out the supposed commies in the entertainment industry. She turned in so many of her friends, no one would hire her. So she gained a lot of weight, married Lee Strasberg, and played Earth Mother to a bunch of starving actors. Until Marilyn came along, Lee didn't have time to deal with his new protege 24/7. So he put Paula in charge of her. Paula became her acting coach, mother confessor, and all-around lackey. She was also one of the highest paid staff members on any Marilyn Monroe film. She was making $1,500 a week, which was a hell of a lot of money in 1956, far more than I was making.
Eileen, as Paula, sits opposite Josh at the table.
Hello, Paula. Nice to see you again.
Josh, darling.
Look, I don't have much time, so will you forgive me if I just cut to the chase? I know how important you are to Marilyn, but I simply cannot have you on the set.
Things will go a lot slower this way.
How do you mean?
No offense, but Marilyn feels she's been mistreated by a lot of directors. She doesn't trust them.
Well, that's comforting.
Oh, it's nothing against you. She chose you, but she also chose me. She's had a lot of breakthroughs with Lee in the past year, and she's at a pivotal point in her training of the method.
Paula, I respect what you're saying. I studied with Stanislavski himself, and I appreciate the method as a training tool. But I have a picture to shoot on a tight budget.
How does this sound? What if you and I go through all of Marilyn's scenes, line by line? You tell me exactly what you want, and I'll make sure she gives it to you.
Do I have a choice?
Not if you want the kind of performance we both know she's capable of giving.
See, that's part of the problem. I don't know what she's capable of.
You may be surprised. I'll be in the dressing room coaching her and getting her ready for every scene.
But not on the set.
If that's the way you want it. And one other thing, when she does something you like, can you praise her a lot?
Paula, I know all about actors' egos.
Yes, but this one's different. She's more fragile than most. And let her think it was her idea. You know what I mean?
I guess pride is a luxury I can't afford.
So that was how we rolled. Josh cleared his schedule for the next 2 days and went through the entire script with Paula.
The entire script?
Every gesture, every inflection, every nuance. Paula never argued. She was no director and not much of an actress. Paula really had no talent of any kind.
If she had no talent, what did Marilyn see in her?
She did have one. I saw her displaying that talent one day with Marilyn over lunch. Marilyn, Bubba, darling, you really must recognize your own potential. You haven't even yet any idea of the importance of your position in the world. You are the greatest sex symbol in human memory. Everybody knows and recognizes that, and you should too. It's a duty which you owe to yourself and to the world. It's ungrateful not to accept it. You are the greatest woman of your time, the greatest human being of your time, of any time. I can't think of anybody, I mean, not even Jesus, except you're more popular.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I wish I were.
Paula Strasberg told Marilyn Monroe she was more popular than Jesus?
And she bought it, every word.
Oh, no wonder you had so little respect for her.
I never said that. Well, I certainly didn't agree with it. Marilyn had her own way of working, and she knew what worked for her. I need your help. I want to make a list.
Eileen crosses upstage and brings the jewelry box to the table. She hands Luke a pad and a pen.
After I'm gone, this necklace goes to Teresa Wright.
Oh, no, really? Do we need to do this now?
And this bracelet with the diamond is for Millicent Martin. This topaz ring goes to Rosetta. She was with me when I bought it on tour in Cleveland. Cost me a week's salary.
This could take all afternoon.
You're going someplace? This choker is nothing but a bunch of rhinestones. Give it to your sister-in-law.
When do you want me to do this?
Oh, hopefully you can hand out most of them at the funeral. Save on postage.
I'm really not up to this just yet.
Oh, hold on. I want to show you something.
Holy shit. Where did these come from?
Eileen, do you think I could speak to you for a moment?
Sure, Marilyn.
Well, since we're playing best friends in the film and Vera is really Sherry's confidant, it would really help me with my character if I could get to know you a little better. You know, if we could be pals.
Okay.
You see, I don't have many girlfriends. Most women don't seem to like me. I can't imagine why. And I could share secrets with you, you know, the way best friends do.
Sure.
I can't tell you what it means to me to have a friend that I respect as much as I do you. After all, I already told you about AM. He's the love of my life.
I'm very happy for you, honey.
How long have you been married?
12 years.
12 years? Wow. And your husband's totally devoted to you?
He's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
And you have 2 little boys? I bet you make a big fuss at Christmas with lots of presents and a visit from Santa and a tree.
It's a little over the top. Christmas is my favorite time of year.
Mine too.
What?
People just naturally seem kinder to each other.
They do.
All that plus a successful Broadway career? Gee, you have everything that I want. Can I ask you something? Why does Josh call you Hecky?
It's a nickname I've had since high school.
And do you like being called that?
Nobody's ever asked me that. It's just a name that kind of stuck.
But do you like it?
I hate it. I've always hated it.
It sounds like someone who works at a deli on 2nd Avenue or one of Arthur's cousins. Eileen is such a pretty name. It means brightness or light. It's a derivative of Helen. Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships.
I think that's more your department than mine, honey.
I know just how you feel about names that stick. In high school, a boy called me the girl. And that was when I was still Norma Jean, you know, long before my initials were MM. I thought it made me sound cheap. But all the boys started calling me the girl, and well, there was nothing I could do about it. I was going to ask you if I could call you Hecky too, but see, now I wouldn't dream of it. Oh, I have a present for you.
For me?
Well, isn't your birthday coming up in a few days? I know it's not polite to talk about a girl's age, but since we share secrets, I know you're turning 37. Happy birthday.
Marilyn reaches into her purse and pulls out a small box.
That's very sweet of you, but you didn't need to. Oh my God.
It's the pearl and sapphire earrings, just like I was wearing at the table reading. I know you admired them, so I called Cartier and I ordered you a pair.
Oh, Marilyn, this is far too extravagant. I can't accept this.
Oh, please. It would break my heart if you didn't. After all, now that we're best friends, let me put them on for you. beautiful. Just like you. Happy birthday, Eileen.
Lights transition back to Luke on the sofa, still holding the box.
They look like new. Did you ever wear them?
They're a little much for the Stop and Shop, don't you think? I wore them to the Oscars once or twice. I want them to go to Mary Tyler Moore. Don't go pawning them.
I won't.
God, I can see the estate sale people going through this house like a buzzsaw. I want to be sure you and Mark get the good stuff first.
It's really hard
What is?
to imagine my life without you in it.
You'll be fine.
Eileen crosses to Marilyn. They both sit with towels draped over them as if they were in the makeup trailer.
I can't believe Rock Hudson turned this part down. And Elvis. My agent gave me a list of all the other people who were considered for this part. Listen to this. Paul Newman, Robert Wagner, Aldo Ray, Robert Stack, Jeffrey Hunter, Clint Eastwood. I've never even heard of him. Dale Robertson, Tony Perkins, Montgomery Clift. And I got stuck with this one. Even the fellow who did it on Broadway would have been better than Don Murray. What was his name?
Albert Salmi. He turned it down because he despises film work.
Well, who doesn't?
Actor number 4 enters as the handsome leading man, Don Murray, in a cowboy hat and a worn leather jacket. He removes the hat and the jacket and drapes a towel over himself as he sits in an empty chair next to Marilyn, who is fixing her makeup herself.
Got room for one more?
Sure, Don.
I just had a wardrobe test. But I think Josh wants a bigger hat.
Well, you know what they say. If a cowboy needs a bigger hat, he's compensating for something else.
Really? In that case, I'd need a little teeny beanie. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just getting into character.
You might want to save some of that bravado for the rodeo scenes next week.
Are you excited about those, Don?
Well, I don't know if excited is the right word.
What do you mean? Are you good in the saddle?
Can you keep a secret? I've never been on a horse before.
Never?
I'm a city boy. I grew up in East Rockaway.
You mean to tell me that you're playing an expert cowboy and you've never even been on a horse?
Not even once. Isn't that funny?
Hysterical. Now look what you've done. You've ruined everything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, now I'll never be ready for my next scene on time.
It was an accident.
Well, can't you just come back when we're finished?
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Just go!
Marilyn, I don't see anything wrong with your makeup.
Oh, there isn't. I just wanted him to leave.
Well, thank God you finally told him. How'd he take it?
You got pretty emotional.
Sounds surprised.
Oh, you know what a hard time I have with that.
Let him have his feelings, Hecky. Remember how you behaved when Jack was missing in action during the war?
Yeah, we must have lit a candle in every church in town. Where were we playing then?
Buffalo.
Oh, that was a nice hotel.
Mm,
What was the name of it?
the Lafayette. One of the few good ones I could stay in.
Oh, remember that boarding house in Atlanta?
Oh, you didn't have to stay there.
Oh, like I was going to leave you on your own in that part of town?
Mm.
I told Luke I want you to speak at the funeral.
Oh, well, thanks for asking me.
Look, if you don't want to.
Like I'm gonna turn down an opportunity to diss you in front of all those people.
You
No.
do, and I'll haunt the shit out of you.
Phew.
And I have to ask you something else. Do you want my fur coats
What?
after I'm gone? I have about 5 really expensive furs. Nobody under the age of 40 will wear them anymore. You go to lots of Broadway openings and nice parties. I thought you might like to have them.
Hecky.
Well, you can take them now if you want. Just leave me the black Japanese mink to get through the winter, okay?
I can't believe this.
If you don't want them, I won't be offended. I just need to be sure they get a good home, and you're the first person I thought of.
Hecky. I would be honored to wear your furs.
Well, then that's settled. I got some clothes you might like too. Hardly ever worn. A few Halstons and Adolfos. Come by the house on Saturday. We'll have a fashion show.
Got your diagnosis 4 days ago and you're already...
What's the point of waiting? It's a cold winter. You might as well use them.
Oh, God, you are a piece of work.
And you're just realizing it?
A pin spot comes up on Luke.
This is tape 5 of the Mama Project. These stories are pure gold. If I hadn't pushed her, they'd be lost forever. Why do I feel like there's still something she's not telling me? Maybe if I ask the right questions. Part of me wants to just give her time, and another part of me knows that the clock is ticking.
Actor number 4 enters with a clipboard.
Hello, Dwayne.
Ladies, I'm afraid the next few days are going to be a bit of a logistical nightmare. Since most of our filming is during the actual rodeo, we have to shoot around the parades and the other events without disrupting anything.
How big is the crowd?
Whew, about 10,000. So I'm sure you can understand that everything has to be timed to the minute. So it'll be up to me to keep both of you on schedule. So thank you in advance for your help, if you'll follow me.
What did you say your name was?
Dwayne?
Like Dwayne the bathtub I'm drowning?
Yeah, if you'd like. Shall we?
Don't I know you?
What? Yes, Miss Monroe. I was the second AD on Love Happy. I'm flattered you remember.
Marilyn, hadn't we better...
Dwayne, I remember now. When I was that bit player on that film, you were just as nasty as a big old boa constrictor to me. When you weren't screaming at me, you were busy patting me on the bottom.
That was a long time ago, Miss Monroe.
Oh, 8 years isn't that long, darling, and I've got quite a memory for people who have done me wrong. I'm calling the shots now. So, Dwayne, every time you come to give me my call, you're going to have to stand on your tippy toes. You think I'm kidding? Well, I've never been more serious about anything in my entire life.
Miss Monroe, the call is places. They're waiting.
On your tippy toes, darling, or I'm not going anywhere.
Marilyn stares at Dwayne through the makeup mirror. Finally, he stands on his toes.
Places, Miss Monroe.
Oh, that's good, sugar. Now do it again.
Places, Miss Monroe.
She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes.
Damned if she didn't make that sorry son of a bitch stand on his toes every time he gave her the call for the entire shoot.
Oh my God, what a diva.
Stand straight, honey.
Makes me think of when I directed you in Driving Miss Daisy down in Florida.
I didn't behave badly.
Oh,
I didn't.
well, let's just say you weren't without your demands.
I have my standards, thank you.
Ever since I'd seen that play off Broadway, before anyone had even heard of it, it became my dream to direct you in that role. Watching you get a standing ovation on opening night as Miss Daisy was one of the greatest thrills of my life.
Wow. I had a wonderful leading man and good designers, and we did it at a first-rate theater.
And
And it was a wonderful script.
tell me more about Marilyn.
2 days later, while we were running lines in Marilyn's trailer, a studio executive showed up looking even more nervous than the assistant director.
Actor number 4 enters as the humorless Fox studio executive. He stands in front of Marilyn and Eileen.
Zanuck saw the makeup test. You look too pale.
That's the makeup I'm going to wear.
Pardon my French, but you look as white as Casper the Friendly Fucking Ghost.
I beg your pardon?
Miss Monroe, Mr. Zanuck thinks you look unhealthy.
And I'm playing a girl who works all night and sleeps all day. She never sees the sun.
The public won't pay to see Marilyn Monroe looking like a cadaver.
The public will pay to see Marilyn Monroe look like whatever we tell them.
But if your face is white and your hair is platinum blonde, you're going to look like one big Q-tip up on the screen.
What if my hair was a little darker, say, honey blonde, not a shade below?
And the kabuki face.
Well, I'll talk to Whitey, my makeup man.
With a name like that, no wonder you look like a...
We'll add a hint of yellow foundation and to accent the hair. But that's it.
I'll see if Mr. Zanuck will...
No, you will tell Mr. Zanuck that is what Ms. Monroe has conceded to.
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Marilyn, you were wonderful.
I was? Oh, I was so scared he was going to fire me. But you know, sometimes you just have to stand up for what you believe in.
The next day, with Marilyn sporting a new honey blonde do, we started shooting some interiors.
They cross over to the cafe table and wardrobe rack, representing Sherry's dressing room. Josh enters and adjusts a few set pieces.
And action.
You better change into your costume, honey. You're late.
He called me a stupid hillbilly. How do you like that?
And cut.
What did I do wrong?
The line is ignorant, hillbilly, darling.
Ignorant, stupid. Does it matter?
I'm sorry, but it does. The manager just said ignorant in the previous scene, and you need to say the same thing he did for continuity. It's important to the script. And reset. All quiet, please. And action.
You better change into your costume, honey. You're late.
He called me an ignorant hillbilly. How do you like that?
And cut.
Oh, sorry, I'm so stupid. And ignorant.
No, it's fine, Marilyn. We'll just take it again. And reset, please. And action.
You better change into your costume, honey. You're late.
He called me... Props! Props, this is the wrong purse!
And cut. No, Marilyn, you only have one purse.
No, I was certain that I had one in the dressing room and a different one for the rodeo.
Nope, it's the same one.
Are you positive?
I am.
Well, how am I supposed to remember my lines when my feet hurt? These shoes are too tight. I thought I asked to have them stretched.
We had both pairs stretched, Marilyn. I was here when they brought them back, remember? Would you like to try another pair?
Yes, thank you.
Not a problem. Shall we take it again?
Anything I can do to help?
No, you're perfect. It's me.
Maybe if you spent a little less time doing interviews and learned your lines.
You wish Kim Stanley was doing this part instead of me.
That's not true.
And reset. And action.
You better change into your costume, honey. You're late.
He called me an ignorant hillbilly. How do you like that?
Well, ain't ya? I don't mean ignorant, but you do come from the Ozarks.
And cut. We forgot to strike the other pair of shoes.
You know, I'm totally out of character. I can't work like this if you're going to yell cut after every single line.
Take 5, everyone.
How can I possibly remain in character character make anything feel real with all of these constant interruptions? And Eileen hates me now, and we're supposed to be playing best friends.
Marilyn, I never said that.
How could if you want me to? Is that what everyone wants?
Marilyn, I'm so sorry. Look, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I won't yell cut ever again until we are absolutely through with the scene. I'll just keep rolling, and if anything goes wrong, we'll just do it again. The script girl will be right off camera in case you need a line. How does that sound?
But you waste so much film, and it's all because of me.
I don't care. This is all about making you comfortable. We'll just keep rolling, and the editor and I can sort it out in post-production.
You would do that for me?
Consider it done.
That's so sweet. Oh, but could we come back to this scene another day? I'm so scared of it now. Eileen, would that be all right with you?
Whatever you want, honey.
As Josh exits, Eileen follows him.
Well, congratulations on digging your own fucking grave.
What choice did I have?
For Christ's sake, Josh, when are you going to grow a pair? If you let her walk all over you, she's just going to keep doing it.
Well, if you have a better suggestion, I'm all ears.
She doesn't know her lines because this set is teeming with reporters. She's too busy schmoozing with Hedda and Luella to do her damned homework. Throw them out.
You keep forgetting. She's the producer. Besides, if I order a closed set, she'd think another man was abusing her, and I'd totally lose her trust.
Marilyn, I'm so sorry I got cross with you.
It's all right. But I couldn't bear to think that I was disappointing you.
You're not. I think you're wonderful. And I'm glad you spoke up to Josh about your process. May I talk to you about mine? Having all these reporters and photographers around all the time is ruining my concentration. I can't stay in the moment or make it feel organic with a columnist from the Hollywood Reporter looking over my shoulder. I know I do much better work on a closed set. What do you say?
If that's what you need,
It is.
I'll tell Josh in the morning.
How about now?
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, could I have your attention, please? From now on, this is a closed set. Please contact my publicist for interviews and photo shoots. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Hecky, how on earth did
Don't
you...
ask. Let's just get back to work.
lights transition to Marilyn sitting on a bench, representing the stands of the rodeo. Eileen crosses to her and sits next to her.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next rodeo event will be calf roping in 10 minutes.
Oh, this is endless. I hate rodeos. Poor animals. Oh, I bought you something at the gift shop.
She takes a paper bag out of her purse and hands it to Eileen.
A Christmas ornament. How sweet.
It's Santa in a cowboy hat riding a bucking bronco. See, it says Phoenix Rodeo 1956.
It's adorable.
You can put it on your tree so you and your boys can remember me. And your husband.
Thank you.
I bet he's a wonderful father. My psychoanalyst says I get involved with so many older men because I'm searching for a father figure.
Do you think he's right?
Maybe. I never knew who my real father was. I tried to look him up, but once or twice. But I decided it was better to let sleeping dogs lie. You know what I mean?
I do. I never.
What? You can tell me.
I never knew my father either.
Really?
When I was born, my grandmother made my mother marry the grocery boy so I'd be legitimate. But he didn't hang around very long.
So you do know what it's like. Did you ever go to an orphanage?
No, thank God. My grandparents legally adopted me. My grandfather was very well off.
Oh, you're lucky. I was in and out of an orphanage so many times before I was 16, I lost count. My mother was in an institution and her best friend, Grace, adopted me. She used to take me to see Jean Harlow movies when I was little. I wanted to be a movie star just like her. Grace had a couple of husbands over the years. Some of them had kids of their own and didn't want me around. Sometimes I'd go to relatives of hers, but usually it was back to the orphanage.
What was your mother's name?
Gladys. She's still alive, but very unstable. I've got her in a real nice place now. It's expensive, but gives me peace of mind. She wasn't up to raising a child, that's for sure. My mama is what they used to call a good time girl.
Mine too.
What's her name?
Esther. She used to take the grocery money and buy a 6-pack of Miller High Life and go to the racetrack with one of her boyfriends.
Did she have a lot of them?
Esther was married 5 times starting in 1918.
Oh my, well, that was scandalous back then.
Well, some of her husbands didn't want a kid around. So I'd be shipped off to my grandparents until the next one came along. Sometimes for a couple of years at a time.
What were your grandparents like?
Cold, unfeeling. But they gave me whatever I wanted. That was the only way they knew how to express love.
After my mama was pronounced insane and Grace adopted me, I went to live with her aunt for a while. Her name was Anna Lauer. I called her my Aunt Anna. She was poor, but so good to me. I wrote a poem about her in school called Because I Love Her. The teacher made me read it to the whole class, and then she put a foil star right above my name. That was the only time I ever got one of those. Aunt Anna scotch taped the poem to the refrigerator, and she would read it every morning before she made my cream of wheat. She wanted to keep me with her, but she was almost 60 and her heart was bad. She'd been saving her green stamps, and when she sent me back to the orphanage, she gave me a little straw hat with a matching straw suitcase. That was the finest present I had ever been given in my entire life. I really think she might have loved me. Aunt Anna died in 1946, so she never got to see me become a star. But I think she would have been proud of me. Don't you?
That's my name too.
What do you mean?
My real name is Anna Eileen.
May I call you that? Just when we're alone.
Ladies, we're almost ready for the next shot. Can I get you anything?
Some more ice water, please, Dwayne, and you might want to send up Miss Eckert's makeup man.
Yes, ma'am.
Mom? Mom, are you okay?
Fine.
Can I get you anything?
I wouldn't say no to a French crawler and a cigarette.
Mom. What is it?
Isn't it obvious? Biggest goddamn star in the world, and her life is so empty. Still looking for the approval she never got as a kid.
What about you?
What about me? I was never that kind of star. Didn't have any desire to be.
I meant the other part.
Can't keep your fingers off a sore, can you?
Are you still looking for the approval?
Don't be ridiculous. I had plenty. So, do you want to hear about the grapefruits?
Look, if you need a minute, we can.
Do you want to hear about the fucking grapefruits or don't you?
Sure. Tell me about the fucking grapefruits.
Now, we were shooting in Phoenix. Marilyn had the top floor suite at the hotel, and mine was one floor directly below.
Wasn't Mark recovering from measles or something?
It was spinal meningitis. Doctor thought the dry desert's air would help him heal faster. So there I was on location with a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, a Scottish nanny, and the biggest goddamn star in the world.
That's quite an entourage.
Oh, the way Marilyn doted on you and your brother. She wanted a child of her own so badly, and after all that time in the orphanage, she had a real soft spot for kids.
Yeah, she was so childlike herself.
Oh, she was constantly being sent these elaborate fruit baskets by studio types and producers who were trying to curry favor. After a long day of shooting, she'd take a couple of grapefruits and oranges out of the baskets and go out onto the balcony and call down to you boys onto the floor below.
Mark, Luke, you want to play catch?
And while I was on the phone to your father back east, Marilyn would play catch with you boys using citrus fruit as your only sports equipment.
Did we ever catch any of them?
Of course not. But you were having so much fun, I wasn't going to stop you. Most of the fruit rolled off the balcony and down to the pool area. And guess who had to drag her ass down there at midnight to pick up all those goddamn grapefruits and oranges?
Marilyn?
Right.
Eileen picks up a telephone.
Rosie, what a nice surprise.
Suddenly, a grapefruit falls at her feet.
How are you, Hecky?
I just got off the phone with Jack. I miss him like crazy.
Oh, he misses you too. I bought him some of my chicken and dumplings last week.
Oh, he told me. That was so sweet of you. He can't cook worth a damn.
Oh, you got that right. Honey, you don't even want to know what your kitchen looks like.
Don't tell me.
Hey, how's it going out there, Hecky?
An orange falls.
We're still a little behind, but I think Josh is catching up.
And 2 more grapefruits.
Listen, I've got a few days work on a Playhouse 90 in LA next month.
That's fantastic. What's the part?
What else? The sassy black maid. Any chance I can see you?
Oh, that would be wonderful. We're heading back to LA this weekend to shoot interiors.
Look out, Eileen!
Falling orange just misses Eileen.
Oh, hold on a minute, honey. I better move to the bedroom phone. It's starting to rain.
Oh, well, that's unusual for Phoenix.
No, it does every night about this time.
Lighting transition back to Luke and Eileen at the sofa.
I vaguely remember that.
Don't be ridiculous. You were 2.5.
I know, but I have this dim memory of rolling an orange around a patio and a pretty lady who wore too much perfume holding me against her breast.
You're making that up.
I really don't think I am. She was so soft and gentle and loving.
As opposed to your real mother.
I didn't say that.
But you thought it.
Could we not, please?
Eileen, would you be my guest to the Macombo on Saturday night?
That sounds lovely, Marilyn.
My favorite singer in the whole world is performing. Her name is Ella Fitzgerald. Have you ever seen her?
Not in person.
I've been to see her almost every night this week. I'm exhausted. Thank God for Dexedrine.
Every night?
Practically. If it weren't for my makeup man, I'd be looking like a raccoon.
Surely your publicist must understand when you're shooting.
No, it's not him. I made a promise.
Lights transition to Ella Fitzgerald in her dressing room as the two women shake hands.
How do you do?
Oh, Miss Fitzgerald, it's such a thrill to finally meet you. I've been listening to you every day and studying your technique until I'm blue in the face.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, they didn't come out right. I'm so nervous.
You're nervous meeting me? Well, you're one of the biggest stars in the world.
No, well, but I make movies. You're Ella Fitzgerald. My vocal coach told me that I need to learn about phrasing, and he made me listen to your Gershwin album 100 times.
100 times. And you still wanted to see me perform?
Of course. After the 10th or 11th time, I started to understand what he was talking about. And well, by the 45th, I was just hooked. And by the 90th, I felt like I was going to church. I listen to it every day now. I find your music very soothing. You're good for my tummy.
Oh, thank you. You're very sweet.
I don't understand why you're not at a bigger club.
Oh, you go where the work is. At least I won't get arrested here.
What do you mean?
Well, my manager got me a gig at a club in Dallas, and he didn't know it was an all-white club. Some of the locals complained, and they hauled me and all the colored members of my band down to the station. Before they booked me, the police sergeant asked for my autograph.
That's terrible. Well, you should be playing the best clubs in the world. You should be at the Macombo.
Ugh, the owner won't even return my manager's calls.
But why?
Miss Monroe, in case he hadn't noticed, I'm black.
Why should that have anything to do with it? What's his name?
Charlie Morrison.
Miss Monroe, what a pleasure.
Thank you for meeting with me, Mr. Morrison.
Oh, it's an honor. How can I help you?
Well, I don't think it's as much about you helping me as it is about me helping you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I understand that you won't let Ella Fitzgerald play the Macombo.
Well, I don't feel she's exactly appropriate for our clientele.
Why? Because she's Negro?
That has nothing to do with it. We've had Eartha Kitt and Joyce Brandt perform here.
Then why not Ella? She's the best jazz vocalist in the world.
Miss Monroe, there is a big difference between these three women.
I'm listening.
I pride myself on our customers, including some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Miss Kitt and Miss Brandt are sophisticated, elegant negresses. And Miss Fitzgerald doesn't exactly have their dimensions. Nor yours, for that matter.
So you're telling me that Ella Fitzgerald is too fat to play the Macumbo?
To put it bluntly, yes.
What if I were to make a deal with you, Mr. Morrison? If you book Ella Fitzgerald for 10 nights, I'll buy a ringside table. I'll come every night with a different group of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Gee, the publicity alone will sell out the run.
And you yourself will come every night for 10 nights.
Well, I'll do my best. And if I have an early call time and can't make it, well, I'll still fill my table with the hottest celebrities in town.
How can I turn down an offer like that? Miss Monroe, you have a deal.
Marilyn exits and re-enters in an ermine stole. She also carries a mink stole, which she places around Eileen's shoulders. As she sits at the table, Marilyn calls to an unseen waiter.
2 bottles of your best champagne.
They call her hard-hearted Hannah, the vamp of Savannah, the meanest gal in town. Talk of your cold, refrigerating mamas. Brother, she's a polar bear's pajamas. To tease 'em and thrill 'em, to torture and kill 'em is her delight, they say. An evening spent with Hannah sitting on your knees is like traveling through Alaska in your BVDs. She's hard-hearted Hannah, the vamp of Savannah. Ooh, she's as sweet as sour milk. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so thrilled to be here tonight. Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce you to someone who is not a friend of hard-hearted Hannah. In fact, she's the reason I'm here, and I owe her a tremendous debt. Please welcome Miss Marilyn Monroe.
Thank you. But Miss Fitzgerald is the one who deserves all of the applause. It's such an honor to be here to celebrate the greatest jazz singer of all time. If you like the show tonight, well, and I'm sure you do, be sure to tell your friends. We want to keep Ella Fitzgerald at the Macumbo, don't we?
Lighting transition. Eileen sits at the cafe table with Rosetta.
Rosie, it was a thrilling evening. Marilyn and I were flanked at the table by Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall, Tony Perkins, Tab Hunter, Jane Russell, and Robert Mitchum. I'd heard Ella on the radio, and Jack has a few of her LPs, but it was nothing like this. The energy in that room was electrifying.
Sounds wonderful.
It really was. The crowd cheered and hollered so much she had to do 3 encores. Ella was so successful, Charlie Morrison extended her contract for another 10 days. After this, I don't think Ella Fitzgerald will ever have to play a second-rate club again.
Well, I guess it's a lot easier for movie stars to stand up for civil rights in their own puny way.
Marilyn was standing up for what she believed in, and that was talent. There was nothing puny about it.
Maybe I should just leave.
What's the matter?
When did you get so highfalutin? Drinking brute champagne with Marilyn Monroe and Ella Fitzgerald? I can't compete with that.
Nobody's asking you to. I thought you would be pleased that Marilyn was helping.
One of my people? Huh? Say it.
I have never thought of you that way.
Not even a little bit.
Are you jealous?
Well, what do you expect? All you ever talk about anymore is Marilyn this, Marilyn that.
She's an actress I'm working with.
No, Marilyn Monroe is not just an actress. She's got a hold on you.
That's not true. The minute this picture's over, I'll forget all about her.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Did you hear about what happened in Clinton, Tennessee?
No.
They tried to desegregate a high school. 12 black kids, smart, bright, just trying to get ahead. They're calling them the Clinton 12. A few days later, as a minister escorted them to a schoolyard, a riot broke out. Over 4,000 people overturning cars with Negroes in them, smashing up Baptist churches, people shouting, "We don't want no niggas in our school." They beat up a white minister real good too. They had to call in the National Guard.
I'm so sorry.
And you sit there with your movie stars at some nightclub and you think you have a clue about civil rights?
Rosie, what can I do?
That is a good question, Eileen. What can you do?
She didn't speak to me for 2 months.
Well, maybe she had a point.
What?
Yeah, about Marilyn having a hold on you.
Don't be ridiculous.
You still can't see it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. Okay. Did Arthur Miller ever show up on the set?
Almost every weekend. While we were shooting at Fox, he'd fly in from Reno where he was getting his quickie divorce. He'd stay at the Chateau Marmont with Marilyn, and she'd be an exhausted wreck when she got back to the set on Mondays. One day, when I was walking past her trailer,
Actor number 4 puts on a tweed sport coat and a pair of glasses and assumes the guise of the soft-spoken playwright, Arthur Miller.
Daddy, I just can't do this anymore.
Sure you can, kid.
I can't. I'm so tired of being her. I'm not a real actress. I don't have technique. I can't do anything unless it's real.
Once I get my divorce, we'll take a long break. Would you like that?
I have another film right after this one. Will you come to London with me, Daddy? I couldn't get through it without you.
Of course I will, darling. And after you finish shooting, we'll travel all over Europe. What do you say?
Oh, no, I'm sick of traveling. I just want to be Mrs. Arthur Miller. And your mama would teach me to make matzo ball soup. And I'll convert Arthur.
Oh, you don't have to do that for me, kid.
But it's important to your parents. They never really liked your first wife because she wasn't Jewish, so I'd just die if that happened. I want us to have lots of kids. And I'll make good Shabbos for you. You'll see, Arthur. I'll be the perfect Jewish wife.
I'm sure you will, darling. Well, let's take it one step at a time, okay?
What's so funny?
I'm trying to imagine Marilyn Monroe in a schmata and a hairnet up to her elbows in chicken fat.
It's pretty funny.
I could want Arthur. Have some more gefilte fish.
And just remember, latkes are a girl's best friend. Later on, after they were married, she got so demanding. I hear Arthur just shut down altogether. If he'd have praised her a little and given her what she needed, he might have stood a chance.
I know just how she felt.
What do you mean?
Being your son isn't always without its challenges.
Surely you're not comparing you and me to Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller.
Not really.
Yes, you are. Jesus.
You weren't exactly easy on me when I started acting.
What are you talking about? I was always supportive.
Oh, that's not exactly the word I'd use.
I came to all your children's theater shows in that drafty basement at the YMCA.
Oh, you were there all right. Remember the first one when I was playing King Arthur in Camelot at age 12?
Of course I do. I even came and watched a run through early on and gave you notes.
I'll never forget the drive home. It was a chilly Connecticut evening. It was December, and my memory was that it was pitch black, and all I could see was the glowing tip of your cigarette and the oncoming traffic reflected in your oversized driving glasses.
Luke and Eileen put on winter coats and sit side by side on a bench, as if she is driving a car. Luke takes on the persona of his 12-year-old self.
I see great potential in you as an actor, Luke.
Do you really, Mama?
Yes. You have a wonderful speaking voice and you seem to feel at home on stage.
Oh, I do.
We can handle this in one of two ways. I have a lot of notes, but I will only give them if you want me to. Otherwise, I can be a supportive mother and simply show up on opening night with your father and the other parents, and we can leave it at that. Or I can tell you things to make you better. It's up to you.
I want to be better.
What was that?
I want to be better.
Eileen takes a long drag on a cigarette and snubs it out in the car ashtray.
For starters, your posture is terrible. We have to get you something different to wear. You can't even stand up straight in that damn purple cape. You look like a hunchback. Let's try my black satin tunic with the red velvet sleeves. Now, on your first entrance, what the fuck are you thinking about? You have no sense of nervousness or anxiousness. It's your wedding day, for Christ's sake. It's a boring choice. And the worst thing you can ever do on stage is be boring. And why were you rushing so much in the scene with MARILYN? It's your scene. You have the focus. Take your goddamn time. Clearly, you weren't thinking about what you were saying. You don't think about your lines. Did you know that? Now, when you first meet Guinevere, what the hell are you doing? This is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, and you were playing it like you didn't give a shit about her. I love you.
I love you too.
I'm not doing this to be mean, you know. I'm doing this to make you a better actor.
No, it's okay. Go on.
Lights shift back to the present. Eileen and Luke move their coats and return to the love seat and armchair.
From that moment on, whenever we talked about acting or theater, I was no longer your child. I was a peer. I was treated like a colleague.
You say that like it was a bad thing.
Of course it wasn't, but it was a mixed bag. Part of me wanted to be treated like a professional, and part of me just wanted a supportive mom to tell her kid she was proud of him.
Well, you can't have it both ways, kiddo. What about your opening night? I gave you a medal of St. Genesius, the patron saint of actors. Do you remember what it said on it?
St. Genesius, guide my career.
And there was a note on my embossed Eileen Heckert stationery from Tiffany's. It was the good stuff, reserved for special occasions. I'd never used that for one of my children before.
It said, "Dear Luke, go out on that stage tonight and feel glad to be alive. I love you, Mama."
I was welcoming you into the fraternity, and you say I wasn't supportive?
I see that now.
I should hope so.
But the intensity of your critique of my work seemed to increase the older I got.
And why shouldn't it have?
When I was a junior in high school, you came to a run through of Harvey. Never mind the fact that I was 17 playing a role Jimmy Stewart did when he was 42. As you swept into the high school auditorium, the doors clanged open. Talk about making an entrance.
That wasn't my fault. The door had one of those damn safety bars. Once I sat down, no one even knew I was there.
Oh, right. You wore a black mink coat and matching mink hat and the standard issue movie star dark glasses.
They were prescription glasses so I could see you.
I'm sure they were, but please try and look at it from my perspective. You sat all alone in row Q, scribbling my acting notes on the back of an envelope with an eyebrow pencil. You wore that heavy gold charm bracelet Daddy had given you, the one with a charm for every show you'd ever done. It tinkled like an ice cream truck echoing through the auditorium every time you raised your hand to write. The rest of the kids thought the good humor man was circling the parking lot.
Does it make you feel better to fabricate such stories?
Following year, when I was 18, the summer before I started at Juilliard, I was cast as the lead in a production of Tea and Sympathy.
I was pleased you gotten cast in such an important play.
It made you uncomfortable as hell.
I'd forgotten that.
And that was one hell of an opening night.
Lighting transition. Luke greets imaginary patrons backstage.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Oh, thank you so much for coming. Yes, we run another 3 weeks. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good night. Hi, Mama.
Hi.
So, how do you think it went?
How do you think?
Well, aside from a few opening night nerves, I felt pretty good. Do you have many notes?
12 pages.
Really?
I don't know what the fuck you think you were doing up there, but you should be embarrassed. God knows I was. What was with all the big phony sobs and the overacting? That was one of the worst things I have seen on a stage. Now you go to your opening night party and we'll talk about that spectacle tomorrow afternoon.
Lighting transition to the cafe table where Rosetta sits as Eileen crosses to her.
How would you have felt if someone had spoken that way to you on an opening night?
It's no different than getting ripped to pieces by the New York Times.
Except this was your son in the basement of the Knights of Columbus Hall.
He was chewing the fucking scenery. That director should be shot.
Or you should. What's really going on here?
He came out to Jack and me last month.
I see. Are you that surprised?
It's one thing to suspect it. It's another thing to have it thrown in your face.
A mother always knows. With all the gay people you've worked with over the years.
And not one of them was happy. I was always the mother confessor. Jesus, if they weren't telling me about had they gotten the clap from some stranger in a bathhouse, they were crying in my arms about the fact they can never have kids.
Things are changing, Hecky.
Not that much, and not that fast. Jack and I don't want him to be lonely and alone.
What did you tell him?
The truth.
Which is?
It repulses me. It disgusts me, and I will never accept it.
You said that? To Luke?
Damn straight I did.
And last night, you saw him in a play about a young man accused of being gay, so you took it out on his performance.
What do you mean?
Keep it up, Hecky. You want to lose him? I know how much you love that boy. You keep talking to him like that, he's gonna walk, and he'll never come back. Shame on you, Hecky. With me, you've always been about acceptance and tolerance. You don't have any left for your own child?
I don't want that kind of life for him.
It's not your decision. Don't you want to be there when he needs to cry in your arms? If you want him to stay in your life, you better get your act together. And fast.
Eileen crosses back to Luke at the sofa. He has a notebook and a pen.
I'm ready for my notes. All 12 pages.
Honey, I am so sorry I was so hard on you last night. Now, I have something very important to say to you. You will probably never again in your life play a role that is closer to you than who you are right now. So if you stop doing all the big phony sobs and the overacting and just go out on that stage and be Luke Yankee, I guarantee your performance will be 200% better overnight.
Hard as it was to hear at the time, I knew it was even harder for you to say it. And of course, you were absolutely right.
Well, Jesus. At least I did something right.
You did a lot, Mom. There's just one other thing.
What now?
It's hard to say.
At this point, just say it, for Christ's sake.
I was offered a role on Broadway at 14, and you wouldn't let me do it. Why?
Oh, for God's sake, not that again.
Your agent got me the audition for the new Gene Kerr play. Everybody said I was perfect for it. You coached me until I was rock solid. I read for the producers, and they called 3 days later to negotiate my contract. You said no.
You know exactly the reason. I've seen the way this business chews kids up and spits them out. I didn't want that to happen to you.
Was that really the reason?
Why else?
I thought maybe you were afraid of the competition.
With you? Don't make me laugh.
Not for the fame, for the attention.
What are you talking about?
There was an unwritten law in our household. There could be only one star in the family, and that position was filled.
You think I wouldn't let you do some piddly supporting role in a mediocre comedy because I was jealous?
Then why did you coach me so hard on the audition?
You already had the appointment. I didn't want you to look like an ass up there.
You didn't want to look like an ass.
What kind of satisfaction would it have been for me if they'd laughed at you?
And what kind was it for me? when I beat out all those professional kids and got the part only for you to say no dice.
Kids in show business turned into monsters.
And one in the house was enough.
You ungrateful little shit.
How would it have hurt me for you to let me have a taste of Broadway as a kid?
You weren't ready.
Or you weren't. Why do you think I had to give up acting?
It wasn't my fault you couldn't take the rejection.
Well, maybe I could have.
What?
It sounds stupid.
Try me.
You never said you're proud of me.
Oh, Jesus, I tell you all the time.
I don't think you've ever actually said the words.
What do you think all those flowers and gifts were for on your opening nights? The telegrams when I couldn't be there because I was on location. Did other mothers do that?
No. And I always appreciated them, truly. But do you think you could just say the words?
I show you. If you need to hear the words, that's your problem.
You never heard the words, did you?
Damn straight I didn't.
Neither did MARILYN.
Oh, she heard them constantly as an adult, but they were hollow. They didn't mean anything because she didn't believe it herself.
Do you?
I think we're done here.
But do you?
Why are you asking for something you know I can't give?
I'm not talking about me. You never felt wanted, did you? You still don't.
Stop putting words in my mouth.
That's why you cry when you talk about her.
Your graduate degree shouldn't have been an MFA. It should have been an MSU. You make shit up.
Why can't you just admit you're just like Marilyn Monroe?
I'm nothing like her.
Not even a little bit?
We all are. A little. It was the vulnerability, the childlike innocence on top of the blatant sex appeal. She had everyone fall in love with her because she didn't love herself. It's so textbook when you think about it. The ultimate imposter syndrome. She was always terrified of the next starlet who was going to come along and dethrone her. If she only knew all these years later. I was nowhere near the star she was. Not even close. And did I look at that shelf in the living room?
The one Daddy calls your ghost corner.
I look at it and I see an Oscar, a Golden Globe, 2 Emmys, a Tony for Lifetime Achievement, 4 honorary doctorates, and all those nominations. I think to myself, what the hell does it all mean?
You don't feel a sense of accomplishment?
I read an article once where MARILYN said, I feel as though it's all happening to someone right next to me. I'm close to it. I feel it. But it's not really me.
I'm sorry you don't see what the rest of us see. You never saw her again after you finished shooting, did you? Anything you wished you said?
So many things. But at least I got to celebrate her birthday. Since she celebrated mine.
Happy birthday, dear Marilyn. Happy birthday to
you.
I'll get the champagne.
I can't believe I'm 30 years old. When I was a little girl, 30 seemed like it was something that happened to other people. Jean Harlow didn't even make it that far. She died at 26. I kind of always figured that I'd die young too. But here I am.
Eileen hands her a large gift-wrapped package with a note attached.
Happy birthday, MARILYN.
How thoughtful. And what lovely stationery. Is it from Tiffany's?
Mm-hmm.
Dear MARILYN, I'm not trying to compete with your Aunt Anna, but I thought maybe you could use a grown-up set. Love, Eileen.
MARILYN opens the box. It contains an adult-sized straw hat with a matching straw suitcase.
Oh my!
There's something inside.
She puts on the hat and opens the suitcase. Inside, there is a framed photo.
It's a picture of you and me and your boys. Oh, Oh, I'll treasure it for the rest of my life. Thank you, Anna Eileen.
Marilyn embraces her tightly. Josh re-enters with several glasses of champagne.
Marilyn, after we finish toasting, we have one last scene to shoot, remember?
Let's do it now. I feel like I could do anything.
Are you sure? This is your special day.
And I can't think of a better way to celebrate it. Just give me 5 minutes.
Well, Josh, we made it.
Ah, careful. The fat lady hasn't sung yet.
Do you still think she can act?
Oh, and I think I actually said that. I could rinse my mouth out with salt water and vinegar. For all her insecurities, there's something magical that happens between her and that lens. I can't describe it. She's like a cross between Garbo and Chaplin. Do you remember what I said to you on the opening night of Picnic on Broadway?
You said this role would change my life.
You didn't see how, but I was right. I think they're going to say the same thing about Marilyn with this one. People are going to start taking her seriously as an actress.
Of course, Joshua Logan was right. Most people agree that Bus Stop was Marilyn Monroe's finest performance.
Luke picks up the first tape recorder.
Isn't it obvious? Biggest goddamn star in the world, and her life is so empty. Still looking for the approval she never got as a kid. It's pathetic.
My mom had never opened up so much about Marilyn to anyone. They were so alike, yet their pain manifested itself in totally opposite ways. I think I finally understood why my mother was so hard on me. With all she had achieved, she still felt totally alone and unloved. How could she pass on what she never felt?
Luke turns on the first tape recorder again.
Honey, don't waste your time. A book won't sell unless it's salacious. And I'm sure as hell not telling you that stuff.
Marilyn Monroe was dead within 6 years of shooting Bus Stop. Anna Eileen Heckert Yankee lived to be almost 82. I was too young to remember Mama's reaction when Marilyn died, but I saw a deep river of sadness every time she talked about her. Was it because she couldn't save her, that she felt she'd somehow let her down? I guess I'll never really know. A few days before Mom died, I was walking past Grand Central Station and I heard someone call out to me.
Luke! Luke!
Rosie!
Oh,
Oh, I have missed you so much.
oh, I've missed you too, baby. Oh, wait now. Darling, I think we're entwined.
Oh, it's my watch band.
I think it's caught in my hairpiece. Wait now, don't move your...
Too late. Luke yanks his arm away with Rosetta's hairpiece attached to his wrist. Bobby pins go flying everywhere.
My God, Rosie, I am so sorry.
Good thing I'm coming from a Christmas party and not going to it.
My God, look what he did to your hair.
Oh, I must look like a bag lady.
Let me help you pick up those bobby pins.
I think some went down the subway grate.
I really need that many.
Oh, honey, at my age, you can't be too careful.
Oh, apparently not careful enough for a Vistaflex watch band.
That thing's got some fierce teeth.
Rosetta takes the hairpiece and puts it in her purse.
So, how was La Divina today?
Well, how long since you've spoken?
Couple of days. Why?
She's pretty close to the end.
Can I?
She's not seeing anyone anymore.
Not even me.
You can call her, but you better make it soon. I'm sorry, I don't mean to seem so matter of fact about it all.
No, honey. I know you. Anything you still need to say to her?
I've had enough therapy over the years. I think I'm pretty complete. Still, if she could just tell me one time that she's proud of me.
You know she is.
Yeah, I guess. But it would mean so much to hear her say it.
I'll call in the morning.
Of course, when the phone rang at 7 a.m., I knew who it was. Aside from saying goodbye, selfishly, I was hoping Rosetta would find a way to tell Mom what I'd asked. So, of course, I listened at the door.
Bullshit. He knows I'm proud of him.
As I watched this huge presence in my life dwindle down to a tiny shell, it was as if all the anger and bravado fell away. And she became this fragile little child, just like Marilyn.
Lights shift to Eileen, wrapped in a blanket and wearing a bathrobe, sitting in a wheelchair.
Is there anything I can get you?
Is it time for more morphine?
No, you just had some.
Are you sure?
Not for another 2 hours.
Help me into the living room. I want to take one last look at the Christmas tree.
Luke covers Eileen with the blanket and wheels her downstage. He kneels at her feet as they hold hands and stare at the Christmas tree on the fourth wall.
I've always loved that angel you got from Jason Robards.
And there's that old Santa ornament I got from MARILYN. It's so worn and battered, but I can't bring myself to throw it away.
Definitely part of its charm.
She was a kind lady. You know, that's all that really matters in life. To be kind to people.
You've been kind.
Not really. Maybe sometimes.
Oh, you've been a terrific mother.
Have I?
Yeah. And even though I'll miss you every day for the rest of my life, I want you to know I'm going to be okay.
I know, honey.
When you see Marilyn, tell her I can still smell the Chanel number 5.
I still think you made that up.
Eileen touches Luke's cheek. After a moment, she hands her blanket to him, rises out of the wheelchair, and exits. Luke turns on the tape recorder, then takes a moment as he folds the blanket.
Maybe Anna Eileen had never been to an orphanage, but I could see she was every bit as enslaved by her past as Norma Jean. Now, instead of being intimidated by her, thinking about my mother just made me want to cry.
And action.
You better change into your costume, honey. You're late.
He called me an ignorant hillbilly. How do you like that?
Well, ain't ya? I don't mean ignorant, but you do come from the Ozarks.
Well, I ain't some hillbilly. Well, not since I turned chanteuse.
I don't know why you just don't quit.
I can't. I don't get paid till Wednesday. And I owe for my room and everything. Besides, it took me too long to get this far.
Cherie pulls a map with a line on it out of her purse.
What's that line, Fur?
That line? That line is the story of my life up till now. See right there where it starts?
No.
That's River Gulch, little old town where I was born.
River Gulch. I never even heard of it.
Oh, it ain't there anymore. Floods come and washed us all away. Everyone except me and my baby sister, Nan.
Oh.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
All my life.
I know the line. I just can't.
Should we take 5?
Marilyn, just tell me.
It hurts.
Of course it does. Just look into my eyes and tell me.
All my life. I've just been trying to be somebody.
And cut! That was brilliant, Marilyn. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap.
Marilyn and Eileen hug one another joyously. The lighting shifts as the two ladies are frozen in a tableau. Luke watches them for a moment and smiles. The spot fades on Marilyn and Eileen and remains up on Luke. As he clicks off the tape recorder, the lights slowly fade. End of play.